will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Decatur Public Library Trustee
of the office of Decatur Public Library Trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Oh, that's it.
That's it. We'll have some paperwork if you stick around for a few minutes afterwards.
Thank you.
Okay, that one, there was all that.
It's the wire is inside, the wire is big.
So just a little heads up on, I know you guys had your orientation already this week. I'll try to go a little slow and just kind of tell you what to do or what to expect. So they can still.
And I learned that Carl can take 2 pictures at one time. So that was kind of impressive in its own right. On the 9th, the library accepted Best Use of Flowers Award from Keep Decatur Beautiful, and it's a 5 vote, which we thought was great, and we didn't do anything to deserve that. Master Gardeners take care of most of it, and the Garden Club of Decatur does nothing. And those prizes were an office chair. It did not violate our gift policy because this was something that anybody could have entered. We kept the office chair because a couple days before, Matt's chair broke, and we felt like it was a good time. Department in July is that Robert and Carol Zeese worked on the transition, and I apologize. Division head reports won't be forthcoming because 3 of them couldn't make it, and I told Carol she didn't have to be the lone ranger.
It was a little period, so we didn't have as many guests.
Yeah.
Yes. So technical services, not a whole lot to report there. Programs, resources, and services. John Shirley, who's on out there at the desk, who probably said welcome because he does everybody, which is wonderful. He's updating and adding more theme book lists and QR codes. You seem to be back. Susan Bishop has taken over a position as facilitator for our Rebecca Cottle discussion group, book discussion group. Tabitha Bilyeu is changing the Spice Club into a cookbook club. And Casey Stein's been working on Take and Makes. Programming has been, kids get excited about doing some research in the library. So we've got some new collection stuff. I want to talk a little bit about Gary Geisler because Gary is, and this time he partnered with Bruce Nims. Gary's a volunteer in local history. He's a local attorney, and he's got a little bit of a following now for his programs on local history, and he makes really cool. He's the Ken Burns of Decatur. Yeah, he makes really cool. So
I would say that since 2 Mondays ago, our hospitals are 100% full. There are no beds. They're starting to cancel elective surgeries. Both hospitals are completely full. They're sending patients to Springfield right now for COVID. So our COVID numbers of very sick people are through the roof right now.
We are quarantined.
from phase 5 on, it made sense at the time.
Yeah. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, it's just everything that map of transmission rate, the national map of transmission. The July 1, it looked beautiful, and 30 days later,
It's entirely red. Nebraska surprisingly has
they weren't reporting.
well, that was a
Yeah,
but this Nebraska, parts of Oregon, they make yes.
their governor was preventing him from reporting for a while, and it looked great. It's like, wow, they're perfect. Nobody's getting it at all, and now the reports are starting to come in, and it's not looking all that good in Nebraska either, unfortunately. So.
Well, I will say that it's a little bit of a different story up by Chicago, because I've talked to some of my friends, and the hospitals in Chicago are not slammed and not full like they are in Decatur.
The transmission rate is still considered high, but, you know.
Oh, I
that-
agree. I'm just saying
once
that,
you-
you know, the governor may not realize how different parts of the state are faring, especially since I don't think it's necessarily 100% public knowledge that both our hospitals are full.
Well, you know, I think that, you know, we'll see what happens. It's just, you know, there's a lot more important things than these numbers, you know, so, you know,
I guess my point is we're not in normal times yet.
Yeah.
I feel like in some ways, at least in Macon County, we're sliding backwards at the moment.
And I'm usually,
Not for that long.
by this time of year, I'm able to give you guys a pretty confident, here's where I think we're gonna end up at the end of the year, circulation-wise, and compare, and I'm not confident at all in it this year, so.
In the meeting here. So we'll move on to the PPPR committee. The last one we had was a little bit longer. We were just had a lot to talk about. Yeah, so personnel update.
Of course, Robert's retirement, and, you know, kind of just briefly talk about my plan. There is Carol Zeiss is going to be the interim head of CERT and continue also as the head of technical services. We'll see how that goes, and as I'm working on the budget, and you know, as far as assistant director duties, is, you know, we're just, the acting team's all picking those duties up. What I'm planning to do as I work through, you know, the 2022 budget is to look at various restructuring options, not just from a operations standpoint, but also from a budgetary standpoint. I mean, anytime, you know, somebody higher ranking leaves, the administrator in me says, we can save some money, you know. So I don't know if we can or not, but that's when we're looking at it over the next few weeks. I don't feel like I have to make a decision on physical item circulation. You know, Paige's job is to get things back up on the shelf. We're going to hold off on backfilling those 20 hours and see if we really need to.
Okay. Questions, personnel? All right. Then we'll talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I would like to, if willing, ask Carl to become the chair of said committee. And if it would be helpful to you, Katie can serve as like the staff liaison, if you're willing to do that.
Yes, I'd like to take on responsibility.
Excellent. I will, I've sent all you guys those 3 proposals. I think I suggested that the committee vote on, are those the 3 finalists? And the initial charge for the committee was to make recommendations about on how to increase the diversity of boards, staff, and volunteers. And then a few months later, murder of George Floyd, and we decided that, you know, maybe we need to broaden that charge. But that's I think, and then that could be brought to committee, you know, and I don't expect that you guys will make a decision next month, but I'd like to begin discussing you know, as long as the committee is in agreement that those are the 3 finalists, I would like to start discussing probably both committees, you know, something to keep in mind, and, you know, in here I'm doing what I said I wasn't going to do, which was, you know, I said I was going to listen more than, but I don't know if we had considered anybody local, you know, getting started with you know, a consultant from out of town, and is there anybody local that we could work with to sort of take us home? So
There were some, options. I don't know. I never saw any proposals.
Yeah, no, I thought the issue was the feedback aspect, and that we kind of had about, I think, a month and a half of a window period for put out, I won't say we put out a notice, we sent letters of interest, something of that nature, to different candidates, and we've only gotten a certain number of them back.
Well, it's a busy industry right now.
Yeah, that is also a very time.
Right.
But I mean, securing a consultant is important. I think it shows a commitment to DEI and
Working with the contractor themselves to get it going forward.
well, and just so you know, they did not see the email, so.
Yeah, and I'm happy to share those, or
Yeah,
a policy that was law in 2020, and it was allowed to expire, and they said that the federal government said that individual organizations could continue to provide this for their staff. We, in January, voted, might have been December, voted to extend it through June 30th. I forgot to bring it back to you guys, and I thought that we should extend it another 6 months. It is basically, you get 10 paid sick days a year for COVID related, above and beyond your normal sick pay. And also if there are child care issues that are a result of COVID, before we do, let me tell you where we got with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in discussions with our division heads today, I think really what we want to do is just make it a lot more narrow.
Yeah.
Make it in cases of illness that may be infectious, and but you can still do some work.
So it's
work.
not just you can request it anytime it
Yep.
has to be.
And then Carl, I think, made the suggestion to put a cap on the number of those days in the year so that it doesn't become used. So as long as, you're legally comfortable with that, and you guys are comfortable with that in general, that's what I intend to pursue.
Yeah, no,
Does that make more sense than
Yeah.
what you saw?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Just for a little background though, for board members, during COVID, we did have people everybody working from home, and so there have been a couple of people that have continued to work from home. One person was just because it was a little bit easier, the other person was due to illness, so she's not able to be in the building.
And you differentiate between work duties and job, because to me, that
Yeah.
seems reasonable.
Well, I think so. I think if it's, like you're saying, a page versus, IT,
Yeah.
you can more easily work from home than when you're, yeah.
And
And
then,
then maybe it's like setting up some kind of, for the pages, it's setting up, here's some things you can do while you're at home, like having kind of a job, like, for those 5 days.
I think, first I want to say, welcome to the new board members. I didn't get a chance to do that. So welcome. I'm glad to have you on. So anyway, yeah, it's, those 2-3 consultants, they were the ones that kind of rose to the top. And we had some more that we were looking at maybe for presenters, but I think we have some really good resources with some of the committee members that have some good experience and had some great suggestions, especially with Brenda Major, Natalie Beck, Abby, and a couple more I'm sure I'm forgetting. So.
Awesome. No, that's great. Like, we mainly just talked about like what we kind of want to do, because I think we want to hear from the diversity committee one more time, as far as the actual like getting everybody together.
Right.
And Carl's going to put that together along with Katie here, and then we have the proposals. The board members have the proposals, so we're going to kind of look at it from a plan, yeah, because it's been a little while, so.
Right, and that's I'm glad to hear that. I think you can't underscore enough, getting it done as soon as possible. We've had a lot of, I think I would have liked to move faster, but when I talk to people who have been through the process, they say you want to make sure you do it correctly, you know, and working here in Appleton, I've been talking to the DEI officer here, who was actually works for the city, and you know, it's the same thing. You know, you want to do it correctly. You take your time. Sometimes it takes longer than you would like for it to take, but you know, at the end of the day, if we could get to that point everywhere where everyone feels like they're valued, and also we feel like we're included in the process, everyone feels like they can be included in the process, or feels like, you know, I think one of the goals that we had was increasing diversity in the, three of the goals, increasing diversity in the board and staffing, and also in our resources. And so along the way, we also decided that, you know, we wanted to make sure that everyone understands how important it is for the inclusiveness too. And also putting a statement out there on the library website, kind of letting, you know, everyone know that where we, as a library, where the library stands. And, you know, it was great to talk to the mayor and hear her thoughts on it. So, you know, I guess a great goal would be to make sure, you know, that the city knows what the library does. And, you know, like in some places, the library is not standing, sort of, it seems like it's standing alone doing something like this, but also working with the city to do something that's, you know, similar, because at our, you know, when we started, and even now, it's tough to find out exactly what the city is doing for this particular effort. And that was one of the things I wanted to, you know, really kind of keep working with the city as much as possible, talking with John, talking with the mayor, talking with Rochelle and French, and seeing what, you know, kind of, because this is something that, you know, I think not just for a library, but the city of Decatur needs to embrace.
Sure.
And have a little bit more.
I think that'd be a good goal, maybe down the line.
Right.
Let's get our house.
Right, yeah, exactly. Presentations, and after we have decided on who the consultant is, because the committee had mentioned, you know, a few times, it would be great to have someone local, but we just really could not find anyone local with a library experience working with libraries for the whole process, you know, so that was why we didn't settle on a person that's local just for this process.
Sure.
Yeah, that was my understanding. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to hang out. We're going to talk about exciting policies now.
You know,
Good to hear your voice, Robert.
hey, it's good. You guys can't see me. I'm sitting out on the balcony with the river behind me, so I was going to say sorry about the singing. Somebody's got some bluegrass playing across the river.
Better have the video on.
Yeah, there's no camera connected to this laptop, but if you don't mind, I don't think I'll hang around since I don't have to now.
That's fine. Yeah, go.
Enjoy your game, Robert.
Yeah, enjoy
Appreciate
your
it,
evening.
You guys are great. Thank you. I appreciate all you guys have done in, you know, working with you. And Rick's been super, and I wish you the best. And like I said, I'll help any way I can. I have family in Decatur, I have friends in Decatur, and you know, Decatur is still my home. So you know, anything I can do, please let me know.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You should change your name tag to Sissy for Rick.
One thing you mentioned is worth revisiting. It's, I think, pretty important, is to talk about the diversity of boards, etc. We do need to look at collections, policies, and programs, and see, you know, are we considering diversity when we do those things? And I would love to have an outside entity look at our policies, just give an audit to see, hey, is there something? Tinley Park and
PLA.
Tinley Park, Peoria, Tinley Park, Springfield, Tinley Park, Peoria, Tinley Park.
What are the dates for that?
Don't know off the top of my head. It's October,
Okay.
but
No, I talked about PLA, I think, in Chicago, Nashville. But ILA was fun last year. Like I took a couple half days, and I just and you can, the way they had it last year, you could actually watch the videos like later, so, that was kind of cool, like you could still join like they had finance and, you know, like some, and then stuff about books. So.
There's a trustee day. One of the days is it's not all that's offered, but it's dedicated to trustee issues.
How long is it? 3 days, so.
I believe it's 3 days.
But you don't
And
have to.
with the
I mean,
theme,
if it's virtual, you can
a la
just-
carte your situation.
Clint's his last name is Smith, the guy who wrote How the Word is Passed, is going to be the keynote speaker this year. So excited about that.
I'll join for some aspects. I don't know that I'll be able to dedicate my entire 3 days to that period, but I definitely will.
But I mean,
Same
like I
price,
said,
you know, so it's, you know, not everybody can go to all the sessions. I mean, that's, Carl has a,
I'll just figure out, you know, either I'll tell them that you're from me, but wear comfortable shoes. Sophia, are you in town?
Yes.
No, I'm not in town Labor Day weekend.
I don't think you are.
No, I mean, I'm going to visit my daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to visit my brother, but I'll be back for a little bit of it. So they also have books between bites, which is the first time. So that is when somebody comes and talks to a group of people. It's a program basically. So they'll have somebody come and talk about a book. So anything else I'm forgetting?
I don't think so. We'll have got something later to discuss.
Yes.
Well, did you talk about rotating going to the meetings?
Yeah, that's next actually. So.
Okay, did you say anything else about that?
Yep. So I did tell them. So maybe probably, I don't know if you can set a reminder, send out the agenda from Faith, or do you want me to do it, or the person? I have a
Yeah, if you.
Thursday.
Second Thursday.
And I actually have the dates. So October 14th is Susan. November 11th is Kate. December 9th is
And it's at 4 or 4:30.
4.
Okay, that's what I had down.
January 30th. I'll give you
October, or you just give it?
I'll just give it to you.
Okay.
And if any of these get canceled, then you are free to, we'll just move it to the next thing. So, because they make all their money at that sale. I mean, not all the money, but. So that is the committee assignment. I will find out who the PDPR chair is hopefully within the next week, and I'll just send it to you, and we'll just at least have it on the record. Oh, yeah. So that takes us to no report for IHLS, old business, board opening. We do have one board position open still. I've talked to somebody recently, and I reached out to the mayor, and she was asking, I'm not kind of. Well, I mean, yes, the answer is yes. So that is something I know I've brought up to her multiple times. The person that Rick and I have actually talked to that I liked is I think he's a person of color.
Come on.
I don't know. I guess that's not a correct statement then, but sorry.
About 5 years apart in age. There was no diversity there at all, and I think that's something that we need. When we have openings, I do. I send the job announcement to. I have sent job announcements to Black Chambers of Commerce, a couple of African American sororities that I know members of, and a few other sources, but I think it's where we might be missing is on the recruitment end for board members, for staff, for volunteers, not on I think that, on the hiring end, we're all really aware of it, and we want to do better, but that's where to the extent that we're falling behind, I think that's where.
So
financially, because I don't want to move, you know, if they're gonna kick in, let's find out before we, because they're the final, the city council is gonna be the final approval since it's their property. And so, hopefully I can get that figured out shortly so that we can send it to city council for final approval.
So, any questions on the electronic sign? It would go out on the Franklin Street up where that sign is, so pretty cool.
And if I remember,
Yeah.
oh, a lot of things could you.
That's for another time.
Yeah. If you want to get me talking about signage here, I will gladly start that. Yeah, for the Mount Zion Library just put, or they're putting in one on their property, like on the ground, and that one is pretty expensive. From what I understand, it's pretty expensive to put on the ground, but this one up here is about 30,000.
It's about 22 total, I think.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It's about 22. It's been a little while since we saw that.
Yeah, yes.
So, okay, any other questions about the sign? Okay. Friends of the Library relocation. We had a meeting with City Manager Wrighton. It's nothing is set in stone because he doesn't have any like official plans. I think this was his intention, and this was last week. So I don't know if anything has moved since then. Nothing.
No,
Okay.
no.
But the intention is to.
Yeah.
I just thought that I'd put it to you guys to see if you wanted to, officially move, and Kate's question is a.
I think.
What would?
Is it we would make the motion to move the Friends temporarily with the.
You still have one more month to do this, so
Right.
if you want to review the contract before we.
Yeah, I'll do that. Is it the lease agreement that you said?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll look at that. And then
Yeah, so if you could table it until October.
well, let's just, I guess, table it until the next meeting. And then.
All right.
All right.
Move the table.
Okay. All in favor? All right. Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Aye.
I think Sophia said it first. The second.
I don't remember. It's hard, I know. It's hard.
I don't know, probably built in.
I'm just gonna yell at you if I need to talk. All right?
I like it.
Well, I mean, we're almost
I
done,
can actually hear you.
baby.
Yeah, we are done.
I mean, it's 6 o'clock, so, okay, any other old business? All right, then we have the check register.
These are the checks written in July.
I move to approve check register as presented.
All right,
I second it.
Okay.
Sophia seconds.
okay, thank you. So in this case, there are no questions for Rick? I mean, usually, like, people will just ask,
I
like,
did
about
have a question.
Here,
giant
I'll
ticket items.
ask one question. What is, so the self-check workstation software, is that something that we renew periodically, or we're?
Yep, every year it's a licensure,
Okay.
renew our license. It's, and that is I basically had to give a verbal NDA about getting that price because it was 4 times, almost 5 times that is what they wanted. And
Okay.
we got it down to this price in just the software. They no longer provide us any support on the hardware. I told them I'm happy to pay you for time and materials, but to pay you $16,000 a year just in case.
Yeah, I
there's a
think we
problem.
discussed that with them last year, right?
Yep, so, yeah, that's so we can have continue to have the licensure for the software.
That's fine. That was the only one.
My question was the consulting was for, what was the consulting?
Jessica Hill.
She's our the community resource coordinator or the social worker that she.
And don't we have a grant that pays
We have a
for
grant,
it that goes
that's
through
right,
our
it's a
check
pass-through, so the Macon County Mental Health Board, everything that we pay her, we submit to them and they reimburse us for.
Yeah, we have to for the action grants, isn't
social work, essentially, and the focus is on issues of homelessness. Not the only thing, but that's a big one.
So, in this case, we do actually have to do a roll call, so I will go around the room. This is gonna be super fun, guys.
We'll be good.
All right. People don't make me crazy. So, the budget.
Yeah, so we're in a good place. We didn't think we'd be in a good place, but revenue has been more robust than expected.
So, if you just want to go down the list of, like, at least on this.
Still not so good next month because we'll have paid out all Robert's vacation time and stuff, and I haven't, come up with a really good way to, in 7.5 years, get that just right. Something Matt and I are going to be working on the next couple of weeks.
Postage is going up, I forgot to tell you.
Postage is going up? Yeah. Well, postage is going up, but I'm ending paper notices. We will not be sending out paper notices. We'll let people know by the head, that kind of thing. So, we're in good shape. The building related costs are under. We are, and I want to, if you go to the last page, I really want to, there's something I want to point out because, sorry, mine is the next to last page, depending on how your kids. So the next to last page is where it says total, and this is your balance sheet stuff. So our cash position, the lowest cash position we had overall was $625,000, almost $626,000. Just like 8 years ago, we were running out of money. We were broke by March, and we had to ask the city to float us until we got our first property tax check, which comes in June. So,
So, is that because we didn't receive the property? Why is it so low?
The budget was
so
in the red.
we were just